Habari ma Africa, asante kwa kutazama Kinseso. Ladies and gentlemen, the empty negotiations of the past 3 months by the Solidarity Movement, AfriForum, and the Democratic Alliance has come to an end, and Cyril Ramaphosa has signed the Bela Bill to effect in its entirety. Now, there's something that we have to concentrate on here, because the ANC has once again called the bluff of the Democratic Alliance. They threatened the ANC. They threatened Cyril Ramaphosa. They attacked Panyaza Lusufi by saying if Cyril Ramaphosa signs this bill, that the relationship between them and the ANC in the government of national unity will collapse. And looks like that is not true. The bluff has been called again. The DA is too much in love with the taste of power, and they are going nowhere. Now, they think that they can outsmart the president. They are saying that, listen, we have the Minister of Basic Education, Siviwe Kwahube, who is now tasked by the president himself to formulate, regulations, norms, and standards on how Clause 4 and 5 must be implemented. Now, that is a problem because it is Helen Zille herself that is saying, listen, these standards and regulations and the norms might take up to 18 months. This is what the Democratic Alliance is trying to do. So they are saying you can say that you are implementing the Bela Bill in its entirety, but it cannot be fully implemented in Clause 4 and 5 in 18 months. Not in 2024, not in 2025. Because you guys know that the intake of students, especially grade R's and grade 8, are the ones that control actually the viability of this Bela Bill. And you know what? Helen Zille has said something that broke my heart. She said the Afrikaner community has been building and protecting their language for the past 30 years. And then she returns a question to our languages as African people, and she asks a question and says, what have you guys been doing? What have you guys been doing? Bheka manje nfosta ukufaka abantwana benu enkolweni zamabhunu. Why is it that ma-Africa we cannot build our own? Leyo question leyo coming from this racist woman is correct, and we must address this question. What are we doing as Africans? Let's talk about the Bela Bill, Helen Zille, Cyril Ramaphosa, Minister Kwahube, and much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, Kagiso Hlongwane Zinjiva Sono, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we're addressing the issue of the Bela Bill. The Bela Bill, once again, is back in mainstream headlines, and we have to discuss just how this Bela Bill is going to affect not only the relationship between the ANC and the DA, but also if it's going to affect the DA when it comes to their loyal voters. Are they going to buy this thing that the DA thinks that they can outmaneuver the ANC? But before that, today I'm doing Steve Bantu Biko. Let's quickly listen to what the legend said.
Changes which are to come can only come as a result of a program worked out by black people. And for black people to be able to work out a program, they need to defeat the one main element in politics which was working against them, and this was a psychological feeling of inferiority. So then in '68, we started forming what is now called SASO, the South African Students Organization, which was firmly based on black consciousness, the essence of which was for the black man to elevate his own position by positively looking at those value systems that make him distinctively a man in society. First of all, we said as black students, We could not participate in multiracial organizations, which were by far white organizations, because in this country there is an overwhelming number of white students at university. And secondly, these organizations were concentrating mainly on problems which were affecting the white student community, which meant that NUSAS as an organization gave political opinions which were largely affected by the whiteness of that particular organization.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ubantu Biko is one of those true Pan-Africanists that we had in South Africa, unalived by the apartheid police, beaten to his death. And I think maybe in the problem, but the way we have forgiven Tina Bantabamnyam, I think his birthday was something like 18 December, about 2-3 days ago, and he would have been 78. You can imagine if we had above Steve Biko during the 2000s, the 2002 to 2009 when Zuma stepped in there as the ANC president. Yeah, all of those years, probably we were never going to have Abu Cyril being our president. Well, what apartheid has taken away from us, Abantu Abamnyama, we will never realize it actually, because our history is not taught properly in our schools. Our history is not taught properly in our schools. But anyway, I hope that clip touched something, because he speaks about something that we as African people must start with a program for our people, a black program for our people. And we must also understand that we are not inferior as a people. This system that has brainwashed our minds to think that we are inferior to other people must stop. And he says them as the youth during their youth movement, they will not participate in this multiracial youth movements, because there's nothing multiracial about continuing to uplift the Afrikaner people in pushing down the black people. The multiracial is a term that is trying to be used in South Africa to make us think that we are in an even playing field, and we are not. Hey, tingakal. Okay, Cyril Ramaphosa has signed the Bela bill. I don't know how many times he's signing this thing, but clause 4 and 5 is now of effect fully. But, I instructed Minister Kwahube to formulate norms, standards, and regulations. Kanti, those things are not in the Bela bill. Kwahube is now going to formulate those things. Let's listen quickly to what Cyril Ramaphosa said.
Over the last 3 months, discussions have been held with a view of reaching consensus on these outstanding clauses of the Bela Act. Various formations outside of government have also made representations, both for and against the relevant sections. Last week, I received a report from the Government of National Unity Clearinghouse Mechanism. This is the structure which brings together the parties to the Government of National Unity and other parties represented in Parliament to deal with contentious issues and thereafter report to the leaders of the political parties that are represented in the Government of National Unity and also some in the Parliament. In their final report, the parties agreed that the Basic Education Law Amendments Act, Bela Act, should not be sent back to Parliament to make changes to the sections that were in contention. The Government of National Unity Clearinghouse participants agreed that the Act should be fully implemented. This view was endorsed by the leaders of the parties to the GNU in a meeting I held with them today. I accordingly advised them that I would proceed to sign a presidential proclamation to bring the Basic Education Law Amendment Act, the Bela Act, into operation from today. I have instructed the Minister of Basic Education to see to the full implementation of the Bela Act. I have also instructed the Minister to do what is necessary, as customary with any law, to ensure that the time frame of implementation, particularly with regard to the preparedness of the system for universal grade R access, and the consequential regulations setting out the norms and standards are prepared. All bodies and officials responsible for the implementation of this Act are required at all times to act in accordance with the Constitution of our country, the law, and the relevant policies and regulations. We must therefore do everything in our means to ensure that every child, without exception, has equal access to a decent, quality education. We must therefore leave no child behind. Let us ensure that our children get the best education so that they can take our beautiful country and our diverse nation forward to a prosperous future. Morena, boloka setjhaba sa heso. Nkosi sikelela i-Afrika. God seën South Africa. God bless South Africa. Hosi katekisa Afrika dzonga. Mudzimu vapatuchedze Afrika Chipembe. I thank you all.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have to, let's paint a picture here so that we understand what we are talking about. So the government of national confusion has got something that we call a clearinghouse. This is all the parties in the government of national confusion sitting down and discussing issues that must be cleared amongst them. So that clearinghouse committee, or let me call it a committee, commission, whatever you want to call them, they sat down and agreed that the Bela bill can be implemented in its entirety and it does not need to be taken back to the public and to parliament. I don't know. So one thing that we have to see on what Cyril Ramaphosa said is that he then decides to allow the DA to have power in this. If the clearinghouse has decided the Bela bill is fine to go, why then do you still give the Minister of Basic Education some powers to say she must establish regulations, norms, and standards to implement clause 4 and 5, sections there in 4 and 5? It's confusing. It's confusing. So we are saying actually clause 4 and 5 still needs to be looked at. That's what you are still saying. And you're making it seem as if everything is good to go. Well, everything is not good to go according to what you just said. Because you can't take this ball and send it back to the racist Democratic Alliance to control how to formulate clause 4 and 5. Because now they are seeing it as a win-win situation. You got what you want, but they still got what they want in terms of limiting clause 4 and 5. So the preparation of the system is not ready. Already, you cannot implement Bela bill in December for January. Already, people have applied for January for grade R and for grade 8. Because I believe those are the grades that are going to infiltrate high schools and primary schools. So you have to start with those first grades. So now, as a school governing body, deputy chairperson, I know that for next year we're already full as grade R. Our school, my son's school, is already full. So you cannot then now implement something in our school that we did not prepare for the previous year. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So the Bela bill will not be implemented, especially clause 4 and 5 in 2025. Now, what they are trying to do in Democratic Alliance is to delay it even past 2025 and 2026 local elections because they believe that they will come out stronger. And I have to talk about Intole the local elections. I mean the by-elections, because the ANC has won a ward in KwaZulu Natal and won a ward in Calvinia in the Northern Cape, in the Hantam. Okay, in the Northern Cape, it's not surprising. It's not surprising. So now, because the by-elections, I believe their results more than the national elections, because the by-elections, then the quantity is so small. You know, the quantity is small, 1,000 something votes, 700 something votes. It's easy to count those votes, unlike national. So it looks like the ANC is clawing back, but we'll discuss that on another video. So now they can want to, the racist African school can say, no, but you guys, we want to implement the Bela bill, but ons is nie rede nie op die oomlik. Want, die mense is klaar ingevat in onze skool, ons is nou bezig met een nieuwe program wat ons moet doen voor die jaar. So they can just say, listen, we want to implement it, but not this year. Not this year. And then hope that Minister Kwagube is going to slow everything down for 2026 and 2027. Man, Cyril must fire this girl, man. Cyril must really fire this girl. So, Helen is so happy about, them still remaining in power there. I think the ANC made a mistake to give the Democratic Alliance the basic education. We cannot trust these people with our children. But this is what Helen Zille said.
To you, let's start with your reaction to the statement by the presidency.
Thank you very much, Bongiwe. That statement needs to be read carefully because there are two parts to it. One is that the Bela Act will be implemented in its entirety. The other part is that Siviwe Gwagube, the Minister of Basic Education, first has to draw up norms, standards, and regulations to govern the implementation of the contentious sections. That is Section 4, D, E, and F, and Section 5A and C. So the President has signed the entire Act into law, and we're aware of that, and that was an agreement that came out of the clearinghouse mechanism and out of the task team that reported to the clearinghouse mechanism. But the important point is that Minister Siviwe Gwagube gets to ensure that the norms, standards, and regulations are there before those sections are implemented.
And I was in conversation with Sato a little earlier on, and I brought this point to them. And Nomusa was saying that for her, it's not a big deal because everything should be there in any case, and it doesn't mean that there'll be some delays. Is that your understanding as well?
There will be some delays, obviously, because of the fact that it takes time to formulate norms and standards and regulations. It takes a lot of time. There's a legal process that you have to go through. It involves public participation. It involves a whole range of issues. So Siviwe Gwagube will go through the legal process properly, step by step, and will get those norms, standards, and regulations in place so that the contentious aspects of the bill can be implemented within that framework.
So did the clearinghouse agree on how much time this could take?
No, they didn't. Not at all. It normally takes about 18 months to finalize these norms and standards and regulations following the process as it's intended to be followed in law.
This woman, Zille, she's so delusional, this woman. She does not hide her racism and her stance of thinking that Africans people are superior to other people. She doesn't hide it. She does not need to say it, but she says it also, So she understands, according to the clearinghouse, that the powers are brought back to Kwagube. And Kwagube must now decide and draw the norms, the standards, and the regulations to implement this. Again, I ask, are you saying the Bela Bill was drafted, especially clause 4 and 5, without the regulations on how to implement those things? Because they are quite simple, especially when we talk about the HOD having power over school government bodies. And I told you guys, as a member of a school government body, I think it is correct that the HOD, the Department of Education's HOD, should have the last say on matters that have to go with school and education. Why? Because ultimately, the HOD, the MEC, and the minister, they are the custodians of education, not the school government body. The school government body is just there to police some policies that are happening there in the school and make sure that the school does not, drift away from whatever it's supposed to be doing, but not to enforce laws, everything. Guys, do you guys understand what I'm saying? So the fact that the clause 4 and 5 is still not clear to us. It's still not clear. So meaning next year I can't take, I keep on making this example that there's an African school in front of my house. In front of my house, gate facing each other. I can't take my child there and say, guys, yes, you are an African school, but my child cannot travel kilometers to go to another school that is in another suburb when there's a school in front of him. My child can't do that. Meaning the bill is not implemented. It's not in effect, because like I said, the schools can claim not being ready for it. They can say, yeah, Mr. King, we want to help you with your child, but we don't have English teachers. We don't have Tswana teachers. We don't have Xitsonga teachers. We don't have Zulu teachers. Yeah, you want your child to learn in your language, but here we only have Afrikaans teachers, and we don't have the capacity financially to take in more teachers. Do you guys see what is going on here? I think here we've been played as South Africans here. We've been played, because that is why sometimes I say, I like dictatorship, because a dictator can just order things to happen, not this democracy consulting. Let's talk about it. And now she says, no, it's going to take about 18 months to do this. It's going to take about 18 months to do this because it still needs to go through the public for public. Hey, public for what? Guys, for those who don't know, the Bela Bill was first started to be drafted in 2013. It's not a new thing that started last year or last year, 2013 already. It was on a white paper. It was starting. I think the public participation was somewhere there in 2019 and 2019, 2020, 2017, 2018, 2019. The public participated in this thing before it went to Parliament. And in Parliament, it was approved. The process has already been done. You don't like participating in this thing. King, 2019. Yes, the process is done. So, Gogo Zille and Kwahube can't now make another process, a public process, for just 2 clauses. Come on. We cannot allow this. We cannot allow this, So, the DA is trying to control us, but ANC a 2 feet, and if the ANC allows this, because our president said, I instructed the minister to, you instructed the minister to do nothing. You instructed the minister to continue wasting our time. That's what you instructed the minister to do. So even, because I know in 2025, we're not going to get anything. Even in 2026, we are still going to be discussing this Bela Bill, because the DA will just be dragging their feet. The minister is on sick leave. Minister is still discussing. They're still drawing. They're still checking the norms, the regulation. They are taking this thing to court, to constitutional court, and all of those things. So there is no Bela Bill without African children. Dutch children sitting in one class and learning under one teacher. There's no Bela Bill. The other thing, you just played around with words, saying the basic you amended the bill, but you did nothing to it. You did absolutely nothing, because nothing's going to change. Because nothing else matters in that whole bill besides the powers of the school government body and the entrance, the acceptance of African children in schools that are in their proximity, but when they get there, they must not be taken out or be rejected because of language. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? But let's quickly listen to what Gogo Zille said that I said hurt me, because it is true what she's saying.
And the question to ask is, what have they done in terms of their mandate to make mother tongue education accessible to more and more children? The Afrikaans community has done a lot to ensure mother tongue education for their children. The deaf community has done an enormous amount to ensure that sign language instruction can be given and that they can learn all their subjects through the medium of sign language so that it becomes a language of instruction. The question is, what has happened with the other languages? They've been totally neglected by Pan-Africanist, and that is where the focus now needs to be.
So what does that mean then? Does it mean it's not over for the Democratic Alliance on this particular issue?
Well, nothing is ever over. I mean, we will continue to fight for democracy and for the Constitution forever. And the bottom line is that we agreed in the clearinghouse mechanism, in the task team that reported to the clearinghouse mechanism, we agreed that eventually the full Bela Act will be implemented when the norms, standards and regulations governing sections 4, D, E and F and 5A and C are in place. So that is the agreement.
So Helen, can I then maybe say, just tell me if I'm interpreting your position correctly here. You are saying we're backing you on condition that this process that needs to be done is done correctly. Is that my understanding?
Correct.
So what happens then? Let's say 18 months comes and the process is not complete and things aren't done. Has the clearing committee, the clearinghouse rather, did they discuss what does this mean then for this access that the president is talking about in his statement?
No, we did not discuss that in the clearinghouse because it's not up to the clearinghouse. It's up to Minister Gwahube to determine how long that takes to do it properly and according to the law.
Abantu abamnyama ngiyacela ningilaleleni because sometimes anizwa nani. You know, Afrikaans speaking people in South Africa, especially abalungu, they are not all Africans. Did you guys know that? Some come from Italy, some have got Portuguese ancestral lineage, some come from Germany, some come from the Netherlands, the Dutch. They come from different parts of the world, these people. They don't come, we were not conquered. We can even say the British also. They don't come from one place. They come from different parts of the world, but they have consolidated into Africans. Abantu abamnyama, with our 10 official languages, if I say let's consolidate into one language, you guys, you are going to refuse. I'm telling you. Bona, they could consolidate to Africans, develop a culture for themselves, develop their own little cities at Orania, develop their own little things, their own little organizations, AfriForum, or their own little university that they are building, solidarity movement, their own little farm that they are developing for their own people, Kleinfontein, their own little army and military training, fatherland, their own little things that they have done as the Afrikaner people. And then on top of that, build private schools that are Africans only. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? They could do that. Mangati tina sonke, let's talk Zulu as African people. You guys are going to say no. But you are very happy with this Kulumislungu. No, let's talk English. All of us, English is none of our language, and it's not empowering any black tribe, so we will talk it. But immediately I say, let's talk Tswana, you don't want to. Let's talk Iswati, you don't want to. AmaXhosa akafuni ukhuluma isiSuthu. AmaSuthu akafuna ukukhuluma isiZulu. AmaZulu akufuna ukukhuluma iSepedi. Thina abantu abamnyama. And you guys know when I speak about that, I'm actually speaking about the Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture, because we are going to adopt Kiswahili. Because we must start somewhere as African people. Not to uplift the Kiswahili people, but to say this language is more advanced than the other African languages, mostly spoken in Africa when you come to the black languages. Our children will learn either as a third additional language or whatever, but our children at the Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture will learn Kiswahili, and we will be adopting it in Lesotho, in Namibia, in Uganda, in Angola, and other countries where PETA will be starting to develop. The African people have built their own things. The question is that Helen is asking me and you, what have you been doing? No, we open a YouTube channel. Well done. Your children don't have a school. No, I've got 1 million supporters. Well done. Your children don't have a school. Remember, the school is where you program the minds of the children. Can somebody hear me? Can somebody hear me? The school is where we call the developmental stages of the child, where the child is developing character, resistance, information, doctrination, brainwashing. It's happening at the schools because they are in groups. The inferiority is developed there to say, yo, these white people are better than us. Look at that white school is performing better than us. Look at them. They've got all the sports facilities. Look at us. We only have a soccer field that does not, the pole is standing like this. This is what Helen Zille is asking us. What is it that we have been doing over all these years? We can't name a single black independent school that is pro-African. Not let's build a school for multiracial, wonke umuntu woza yonke into masijabulise wonke abantu. Why bona they don't do that for us? Why bona they don't do that for us? Why Tina we want to do it for them? What is wrong with us abantu abamnyama? To wanting to Tina, when we want to build something, it's for everyone. I keep on telling you guys this, that the Chinese took care of themselves first. The Arabs took care of themselves first. The Germans took care of themselves first. The Russians took care of themselves first. The Dutch took care of themselves first. The Africans want to take care of everyone. Score right la. Let us score right la. We can't even build schools for our children. Huh? So some of you want to even politicize PETA. How dare you? How dare you? Because these arguments, they're going to lead us to a point where nothing is built. Your political regalia is not going to build us a school. A Pan-Africanist school, by the way. By the way. So when I speak about PETA, leave your political head out of this. Abalung bayahleka, but what have we been doing? And iqiniso senzani, because all we do is fight and argue on the comment sections. All we do is fight and argue on social media. And then after all that, we compete. When a person comes with a genuine thing to say, guys, let's build a school for our children. Can we have 10,000 people that can donate each 50 rand per month so that we can build a school for our children? We're going to die, guys. We are not going to live forever. What are we going to leave behind for our children? Nyabuza. Helen is asking us, what is it that we've been doing? Tina bantu abamnyama. Next. But you want to be red, you want to be green, you want to be yellow. Bona they might be in different parties, but bonke base AfriForum. donating AfriForum, Solidarity Movement, they are donating. There's 21 organizations under the Solidarity Movement. They institutionalize their movements. They register their movements. They make it viable movements. When they want to take you to court, they take you to court. In fact, when they want to take the government to court, they take the government to court. Mina now sachisa matayere ngaphandle. Mina now sachisa matayere. We're still burning our libraries. We're still vandalizing things. Thina bantu abamnyama. Asifuni ukwakha anything. The truth must be told. The truth must be told. We cannot afford that PETA must fail. We're going to be a laughing stock. It's fine. It's fine. If you don't support, it's fine. But I'm saying we're going to be a laughing stock as African people. Because in 2029, they will still ask the question, what are you guys building? Now we're building a new political party. Now we're building a new YouTube channel where we can complain and attack each other. No, we are on TikTok debating every night. We are debating Gumnandi. Thank you so much for everyone that has donated in December. I think I put your names yesterday, but I'll put them again today. You guys, you give me hope, man. You give me hope. Guti, Mabas Tuga, I know there's about 1,000 people in Mondozabos Bonayo with what we are trying to do here. After this channel develops this school, ngane na ikhatha, ngane na icima, ngane na iblock, ngane na yenza into enfuna ukuyenza. We must establish something from this relationship or this acquaintanceship, this understandingship that we have here, that we are going to build a school for our children. So thank you so much for depositing in December. In December. Seriously. In December. You guys know, man. I want to Nyama, there's still hope, man. There's still hope. You guys give me the hope. Thank you so much. And for those who don't know what we're talking about the Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture. That is PETA in short. It is a movement, educational movement for the coming generation, where we say we must build Black excellent independent schools for our coming generation so that they can learn history properly, they can learn sciences properly, technology properly, and agriculture properly. That is what we are saying in PETA. It's very important. Also, we're going to mix political education there. We're going to mix spiritual education there, so our children can understand who they are, their true identity. That's all I'm going to say today. Thank you so much for tuning in on King Said So. Until we meet again, don't forget to pray. But after you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism.